This is Swati Naraganti, the content writer and leader at Urzu, which is a vertical of Think Roman Visions. And today we have Miss Sridivya Palacharla, who is a CEO and co-founder of Skyvigo Solutions. And today we are going to have a talk on the advancing drug safety and pharmacovigilance through expertise and innovation. So we are in an era where patient safety is at the forefront of healthcare, and pharmacovigilance plays a pivotal role in ensuring the safe and effective use of medications worldwide. So today we have the privilege of hearing these concerns from Ms. Sridivya, who is a seasoned professional in this field, whose expertise has significantly contributed to advancing drug safety. So throughout this discussion, we'll explore certain key aspects like navigating the complex cases like severe drug adverse reactions, and also leveraging technologies, shaping the future of drug safety. Whether I can assure you that whether you're an industry and veteran or new to the field, this session promises an invaluable insights into how expertise and innovation can drive meaningful improvements in pharmacovigilance experiences and practices. So, ma'am, can you give us a brief introduction about yourself? Like, how did your career in pharmacovigilance begin, and what inspired you most in this career?
Yeah. Thank you, Swati. Hello, everyone. I'm Sridivya Palacharla, CEO and co-founder for SafeWitch. To answer your question, Swati, I've completed my post-graduation in pharmacology from esteemed Andhra University. And I initially started my career in global data. And later on, I worked for Thomson Reuters. And in both the companies, I was working in clinical research, but that is a part of secondary research. Post that, I aspired to be a part of departments like pharmacovigilance, clinical data management, and medical writing, because at that point of time, that was a trend where my peers were joining in these kind of departments, and there is a lot of hype for these departments at that point of time. So I also thought I should get a job in that. But once I have actually come into this pharmacovigilance field, my thought process has completely changed, and I got deeply interested to know more about pharmacovigilance. And every case, every day, I used to process a lot of cases, and every case I used to take very seriously, and I used to process it very keenly with high quality, because what I have thought in my mind at that point of time was the data that you are actually giving out, that should be accurate, and the data should be reliable, which indeed gives the more safest drugs into the market, which is actually helping for the global safety health, right? So that is where I actually got interest in pharmacovigilance as and when I was in process. So yeah, that made me to start SafeWitch because of the interest that I have in pharmacovigilance.
Okay, it's great to know more about this pharmacovigilance. So, like, whenever we try to see drug safety, we are mostly concerned about pharmacokinetics and dynamics of this drug only. But there is another concern, which is like adverse drug reactions. So, like, I would like to know from your perspective, like, did you come around any example of a complex adverse drug reaction? And I would like to know how you handled those cases with like the steps how you resolved them. Can you share an example of it, ma'am?
Um, yeah, sure, Swati. But my point of view is different in this, because I've come from pharmacovigilance field. Not one ADR, every ADR that we receive, we treat that as complex thing, because this particular pharmacovigilance is highly regulated field. The nature of the field is highly regulated. So every ADR itself means that the drug adverse drug reaction, which means that the event or the drug reaction which has actually happened, it is because of the drug. It is very evident that it is because of the drug. So we generally follow the timelines which the national regulatory authorities have given, and these timelines will be dependent upon the type of the case, that is the type of seriousness that can be very critical. For example, the seriousness of the event or ADR is death or life threatening. The timelines would be different in the clinical trials from phase 1 to 3. And In case if it is other kinds of seriousness like hospitalizations or medically significant events or congenital anomaly, the timelines would differ. But whatever the thing is, we'll have to submit to meet the compliance. So that is where, every ADR will be considered in the same way, to make sure we are meeting the compliance and we are aligning to the regulatory authority standards.
Okay, it's great to know about the compliances and national authority timeline as well. So, like, as we are on the guidelines level, how do you ensure that the compliances with the regulatory requirements while managing the large volumes of safety data? How do you ensure those regulatories?
Can you just repeat your question, please, once again?
So, what kind of strategies do you ensure, like, do you use to ensure the compliance of the regulatory requirements with the patient safety data?
Okay. So yeah, that's a good question, Swati. Basically, to handle the large safety data, definitely we should have three key elements. One is
Okay.
the robust process which is set up in the company, and strategic planning, and also using or leveraging advanced tools. In Safewedge, we definitely have a robust process where the SOPs are made in such a way that we are aligning to the global regulatory standards, which indeed helps our team or of how to process the cases, how to until submissions. I mean, process until the reporting of the whatever cases that we get. So one is that robust process and leveraging advanced tools. So, rather than utilizing the manual effort, there are a lot of tools right now in the market. For example, case triaging tool or literature monitoring tool or signal management tool, whatever you name, there are a lot of tools where we leverage those kind of tools to handle these kind of larger sets of data, so that the compliance will be met because we submit the data on time, because the analysis happens in a little faster way because we are utilizing automations. And then, apart from all this, I think we should have a very strong team, where I believe without the strong team, the compliance and anything that cannot be met. So I always make sure my team is trained properly on all the global standards and the requirements, and then I make the team stronger so that they can plan and they are aligned to the regulatory requirements, and they plan their work and submit, not to meet not to miss the compliance. And also strategic prioritization we do, where generally the cases prioritization should be done based upon three different aspects, depending upon the case seriousness, the causality, whether the event is related to the drug or not, or the expectedness, whether the event is already expected or not expected. Based on these three key elements, we generally prioritize the submission of the cases. So we will have a proper trackers, whether it is manual or automated tools that we use. We will prioritize in such a way that the cases goes in an order, not to miss the compliance or missing the submissions. And also the proactive regulatory intelligence, which is very key, where we will have to keep ourselves updated, so that we are up to date with the regulatory guidelines or new regulatory guidelines which are changed, so that we will be able to handle all this kind of larger safety data with these few elements that I have told you.
Yeah, so like it's great to know about the regulatory authorities and timelines. So as we are in the pharmacovigilance regulations, I would like to know how do you ensure that you stay updated with all this pharmacovigilance regulations and guidelines around the global, not only in India but also US and UK, all these
Okay.
countries. Yeah.
Yeah. So in pharmacovigilance terminology, Swati, we call it as regulatory intelligence.
Okay.
So yes, that is a key for any pharmacovigilance clinical service provider, because we work globally and we should stay up to date with the regulatory authorities, what are the changes in the guidelines, and everything. So I have a few strategies how I make sure Safage is up to date with the current regulatory guidelines of all the countries. So first thing is frequent checking of the websites, regulatory websites. So our team, a dedicated team, we will have a frequency of checking the websites, where we get into the websites and check what are the new updates or any change in the guidelines are happening. And second thing is, we also be a part of public forums and conferences. There
Okay.
are, as a part of, as a CEO and co-founder for SafeWage, I always make sure I attend these public conferences, so that there are a lot of things that we can learn here, and what are the latest developments are happening, or what are the new changes which has happened. So one second thing is that which I always take care. And since we work globally and we will have local QPPVs, who are qualified personnel for pharmacovigilance, and local representatives in those countries, we collaborate with them and we take regular updates from them, and they'll keep us updated whether there are any changes in those particular countries. And the next thing what I say is that I register in net professional networks to make myself or SafeWage updated with the current regulatory guidelines. And out of everything, knowing the management knowing the regulatory updates is one thing, and how my team is getting updated with this kind of updates and they're aligning to the standards is a second important thing. So we make sure whenever there is an update in the guideline or new things which are coming up, we make sure the internal team is cascaded with this information properly, the team is trained properly, so that while processing they will not miss following these standards, and the compliance will not be missed. So that these are the cares that we take generally in Safewage to make sure we are not missing on the compliance things.
Okay. So, ma'am, I would like to know whether there is any gold standard pharmacovigilance regulatory intelligence, such that a beginner can understand and get into the field of pharmacovigilance. Are there any type of gold standard regulations in the pharmacovigilance?
Yes. See, there are two regulations or modules that we have to follow for any person or the freshers to get into this pharmacovigilance field. So one is the ICH guidelines,
Okay.
where they will be from E to A. We will have guidelines, efficacy guidelines, where you can get very clear knowledge about pharmacovigilance. And apart from this, there are some standards which European Medical Medicines Agency has drafted.
Okay.
So GVP modules we call global, good pharmacovigilance practices from module 1. And out of that, GVP module 6 is about ICSR case handling. GVP module 5 is about risk management plan. GVP 9 is about signal management. Like that, we will have good pharmacovigilance practices, which EMA also has released. So if anyone wanted to get into pharmacovigilance profession, if they can just go through these regulations, I think they can cover up a lot of things and they can go to the interviews very confidently.
Yeah, this will be much of help for the beginners who are thinking to start their career in pharmacovigilance. Thank you for this module information, ma'am. And I would like to know how do you, like, as you said, you are having global founding. So how do you collaborate with cross-functional teams to enhance this monitoring and reporting of drug safety concerns?
Okay. So it's all about setting up expectations and setting up or defining proper roles and responsibilities, Swati. So if there are multiple teams that we have to work with, initially before starting the processes itself, if we can define the proper roles and responsibilities for that particular team or a person, they make sure they're accountable to that particular work and they'll stick to that and they'll be doing their own job or role, or they'll be properly working in their role. Apart from that, it's having frequent meetings. We generally regularly meet through teams or in face to face meetings, where we share lot of insights and what are the ongoing processes, or how many ongoing cases, how many submissions to be completed. That connect, that makes more easier for us to make sure we are aligning to the regulatory standards. And also we share insights in those meetings. So we
Okay.
share a lot of things in those meetings, and Also, we will have a joint trainings as well, where we will have awareness sessions. In that way, we can keep ourselves up to date, and we can collaborate each other, globally, wherever we are. This is how we work. And my perspective is to define proper roles and responsibilities, so that everyone will be clear what they have to do.
Yeah.
And the meetings, these two are the things that I generally follow.
Yeah, so communication and engagement regularly have its pivotal role in maintaining this cross-functional team management. It's a good insight. So, ma'am, like
Exactly.
in pharmacovigilance, the first and foremost step will be signal detections. So, have you ever come around a complex case of signal detection, and how do you address those concerns?
Yeah. So signal management, before signal management, we will have lot of processes, Swati. We start with individual case, and then comes the aggregates, and then comes signal. Yeah, signals do have a lot of concerns and challenges while actually doing the signal management. The first and most important thing is the data overload. We will have larger sets of data. From that, it makes us really difficult to identify the signal itself. So for that, what Safish does is we leverage automation and artificial intelligence, where we use or leverage tools like signal management tools, whatever they are in the market. In fact, we developed a signal management tool in house, and yeah, very soon we are going to get into the market. So that is where we are actually using the artificial intelligence and automations to make sure that even though there are larger sets of data, we make sure the analysis is done in a little faster pace. And second thing is assessing whether it is a right signal or not. That is one important thing. For that, what we does is, we will have collaborative discussions with the medical experts and proper quality review that we do, so that the assessment is appropriate.
Okay.
And the timelines, every country have their own timelines for the submission, and the timelines would be really stringent for preparing and submitting the signal management report. So for that, we utilize the tools to submit the signal management, or we will have an efficient signal management strategies that we follow, so that we will not miss on the timelines. And also, the last one that I wanted to tell you is about keeping ourselves again updated with the regulatory things, so that every country has their own timelines for submitting signal management tools. So we always make sure we are proactively doing regulatory intelligence, and we make sure we are submitting the signal management reports on time.
Yeah, it's a good insight, ma'am. So now I would like to know, as we are in the talk of artificial intelligence, so how do you think this artificial intelligence and machine learning will get us into a new and modern pharmacovigilance era? So will it play any important role, or the jobs or careers will be replaced as such?
Yeah, that's a common question everyone asks, Swati. But I will say this way. See, I have seen when there is very minimal. I started my career when there was very minimal automations at that point of time. But now the automation and AI are actually almost leading pharmacovigilance
Embedded.
now.
Yeah.
So what I would what I would say is that, yeah, it significantly enhanced the efficiency of in PV. And also it is increasing the scalability. Whatever the size of the cases that we are getting, we are actually processing it very easily, because AI is helping in that, or automations are helping in that. And accuracy, we are getting more accurate data also, because once something is set up at the back end, the system is doing in the same way, assessing it correctly. Accuracy is getting increased. So that streamlining of the processes would definitely there after this AI and automations are into the pharmacovigilance processes. And of course, there are a lot of tools like case triaging tools, literature monitoring, signal management tools. All of these tools are actually helping in reducing the time of preparing the reports, or meeting the regulatory compliance. Yes, this is playing a very significant role. AI is playing, in pharmacovigilance field. What I would suggest is coming to, what if you ask me, if everything is done by AI, and automations what manual or the human beings does. My answer for this is, rather, we'll have, rather than doing the routine tasks, what I would suggest is we can work on more strategic planning, how better that we can take the drugs into the market, so that we are creating a great impact to have a global safety, and everything is maintained properly. That is where I think about, rather than losing the jobs and all. So yeah, definitely AI and automation definitely had greater impact in pharmacovigilance, because it is helping in real different way now.
Okay, so AI cannot be replaced, like humans cannot be replaced, but they can use the AI to make strategic planning, and the consumption of signal detection, like large data force, can be taken down. So it's a good insight, no? And
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, as we are like, I'm eager to know this answer. Like, what is your approach to training or mentoring teams in pharmacovigilance in the way of quality and consistency? How do you train or communicate with them? Like any type of mentoring experience?
Yes. I was a trainer when I was working for IQVIA, and I always, even I've started my own company, I believe in the foundation since beginning. So if the foundation is very strong,
Yeah.
the team can perform at a high level with high quality and accuracy. That is what I believe in. So at SafeVeg, we have very robust training plans from the beginning when they have come into the company. We will be training them on the regulatory guidelines, processes, SOPs that we have, and everything. Once they get into their projects, again, the project specific trainings we will be giving them based on the client expectations, or every project is different, every indication that we work on, pharmacovigilance is different. So they will be trained on those kind of aspects, so that everyone will be in that particular project will be streamlined and working as a team. And also, we, as I've told you before, as and when there are regulatory intelligence done in the team, we keep on training them, giving them internal trainings to keep them updated with the regulatory guidelines which are updated. And also ad hoc trainings that we give, refresher trainings on ICH, GCP, all those kind of trainings we'll be giving them, and one-on-one mentoring also. So if I feel someone is lacking on few concepts, definitely I will be having a face to face meetings one on one, so that I'll be letting them know where they are lacking. In that way, we can identify the gaps in the team, and everyone will be working together as a team.
Okay. Thank you, mom. Thank you. Like, so as we are at the end of our talk, I would like to have this question. Like, I would like to what know your futuristic vision, like what trends or advancements in pharmacovigilance do you think will shape the future of drug safety?
Yeah. Looking ahead, I believe a lot of advancement in the technology, such as artificial intelligence and machine learning, will definitely revolutionize the pharmacovigilance process. And also, it actually helps in real time safety monitoring, and it definitely helps in predictive analytics, and also does the risk management prior the drug comes into the market. Apart from that, the regulatory regulations are also actually getting evolved so much these days. So considering that, there is a lot of good things which are happening in the field of medical and clinical research, which makes the process more harmonized. And at Safety especially, we are forefront doing being a part of this kind of innovations, and these kind of developments. And at the end, what I wanted to say is, I'm Sridivya, CEO of SafeEdge. We are dedicated to patient safety, and we have high passion for innovation. Thank you.
Like to be precise, this was an enlightening and a cheerful section as a session for me was. So thank you for being here, ma'am. So as we conclude this enlightening session, we want to extend our heartfelt thanks to Miss Sridivya, ma'am, for sharing her experience and strategies and vision in this pharmacovigilance. So today's discussion not only highlighted the challenges in drug safety, but also on immense opportunities to innovate and collaborating in the futuristic vision also. And thank you for being here and sharing your insights, ma'am. Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity, Swati. Thank you so much.
it's all the pleasure of ours. Thank you.